If you woke up tomorrow and realized that 20 years of hard work had earned you exactly enough to buy a used Honda Accord and nothing more, would you stay in bed or start screaming? Because for the average 43-year-old, that's not a bad dream. It's the cold, hard reality sitting in their retirement account. We're talking about people who make good money, pay their bills on time, and don't have a shopping problem, yet they are staring down the barrel of a retirement that looks less like a tropical vacation and more like a math problem they can't solve. By the end of this video, you aren't just going to have a vague idea of how to fix your finances. You're going to have the exact math-backed milestones you need to hit in your 40s to ensure you aren't the person selling their house at 70 just to afford groceries. Your 40s are a window, and windows have a nasty habit of slamming shut. Let's look at a guy I'll call Decent Dave. Dave is 43, making $95,000 a year. He's got the house, the 2 kids, and 2 car payments. He feels like he's doing okay-ish. But okay-ish is the most dangerous place you can be in your 40s. Dave has $87,000 in his 401k. He thinks he's doing alright because, hey, it's almost 6 figures, right? Wrong. But here's where it gets interesting. According to the experts at Fidelity, by age 40, you should have 3 times your annual salary saved. For Dave, that's $285,000. He isn't just a little behind, he's $200,000 underwater and he doesn't even know it. If Dave keeps floating, by the time he hits 50, he'll be $500,000 behind the benchmark. Now, before you feel too bad for Dave, here's a pattern interrupt for you. The Federal Reserve says the median retirement balance for people in their early 40s is only $60,000. That means if you have anything at all, you're doing better than a third of the country who has exactly 0. But being the tallest kid in kindergarten doesn't help you when you're trying to retire in the real world. Why is this decade so much more important than your 30s? It's the late arrival penalty. If a 25-year-old wants to hit $1 million by 65, they only need to tuck away about $380 a month. But if you wait until you're 40, that number jumps to over $1,200. Every single year you wait in your 40s is costing you about $60,000 in lost future wealth. You aren't just losing time, you're losing a fortune. Stay with me because the last point we're going to cover about your mortgage might be the most controversial thing you've ever heard about your home. But first, we have to talk about the roommates living in your bank account, your debt. Milestone number 2 is killing the right debt in the right order. People in their 40s are currently carrying the weirdest debt loads in human history. You've got credit cards, sure. The average balance is over $9,000 for this age group. But you also have zombie debt, student loans that are still hanging around 20 years later. Toss in 2 car loans averaging nearly $30,000 each, and the average 40-something is lugging around over $100,000 in non-mortgage debt. Think of your wealth like a bucket you're trying to fill. High-interest debt is a giant hole in the bottom of that bucket. If you're carrying a credit card balance at 22% interest, there is no investment on planet Earth that can consistently beat that. Paying off that card is a guaranteed 22% return on your money. You can't get that in the stock market. Trying to invest for the future while carrying credit card debt is like trying to run a marathon with your shoelaces tied together. And let's talk about those cars. Dave is paying $1,400 a month for 2 depreciating metal boxes. If he invested that same $1,400 into an index fund for 30 years, he'd have over $1 million. Instead, in 10 years, he'll have 2 old trucks worth about $11,000. The math is brutal, but most people avoid looking at it because it hurts. But here's a shocker that 76% of you are ignoring. Milestone number 3 isn't about how much money you make, it's about what happens if you aren't here to make it. Only 24% of Americans have a will. If you're in your 40s, you're in the prime estate disaster zone. You have a mortgage, kids, and assets, yet you're less likely to have a plan than an 18-year-old. If Dave passes away without a will, a judge who has never met his kids gets to decide who raises them. His assets go into probate, which is just a fancy word for a legal meat grinder that takes 6 months to 2 years and eats up to $40,000 in fees. And here's the stay until the end teaser. Your will might not even matter for your biggest account. Your 401k and life insurance go to whoever is on the beneficiary form. If Dave forgot to change his beneficiary from his ex-wife to his current wife, his ex-wife gets the money, and the will can't do a thing about it. Check those forms this week. If you're finding this valuable and want to make sure your future self is taken care of, hit subscribe. Most viewers aren't subscribed yet, and I don't want you to miss the next piece of the puzzle. Now, let's talk about milestone 4, life insurance. About half of you don't have enough, or any at all. Dave's job gives him 1 year's salary and coverage. That sounds great until you realize his family would be broke in 18 months. You need 10 to 12 times your income. For Dave, that's a $1 million policy. Here's the kicker. For a healthy 40-year-old, a $500,000 policy is about $50 a month. If you wait until you're 50, that price doubles or triples. And that's if you stay healthy. One bad blood pressure reading or a new medication can get you declined entirely. Get a 20-year term policy now. Do not buy whole life or universal life from a guy in a shiny suit who wants to buy you a 2-hour lunch. Those policies build wealth for the salesman, not for you. Milestone 5 is the one that makes parents feel guilty, but you have to hear it. College versus retirement. Dave is considering stopping his 401k contributions so he can save for his daughter's tuition. Don't do it. Repeat after me. You can take a loan for college, but you cannot take a loan for retirement. There is no retirement FAFSA. If you sacrifice your future for your kid's degree, you aren't giving them a gift. You're giving them a future burden when you run out of money at 75 and have to move into their spare bedroom. Fund your retirement first, fully. Then, and only then, use the surplus for college. But wait, what about the house? Milestone 6 is the mortgage question. We all want to own our homes outright, right? It feels good. But if you're one of the 60% of people who locked in a mortgage rate below 4% during the pandemic, paying it off early might be a $1 million mistake. If you take $100,000 and pay off a 4% mortgage, you save $66,000 in interest. But if you put that same money in the market at an 8% return, it grows to $1.7 million over 30 years. You are essentially paying a $1.6 million comfort tax to not have a mortgage payment. Plus, home equity is dead money. You can't eat your kitchen cabinets in an emergency. Keep your money liquid and let it grow. Milestone 7 is hitting the catch-up before it arrives. When you hit 50, the IRS lets you put an extra $7,500 into your 401k. If you do that from age 50 to 65, that extra bucket alone can grow to over $700,000. But Dave's plan is to wait until he's 50 to start. By then, life happens. The kitchen needs a remodel, the car dies, or the kids need help. The people who actually hit the catch-up are the ones who automate their savings increases now. Bump your contribution by 1% today. You won't even feel it. Finally, Milestone 8, check your allocation. Most 40-year-olds are still using the investment settings they picked when they were 25. If you're too conservative because you're getting older, inflation is going to eat your lunch. A 40-year-old still has 25 years of growth ahead. If you have 40% of your money in bonds, you're quietly throttling your own returns. I want to leave you with two versions of Dave. Version 1. Dave didn't look at his accounts until he was 60. He paid off his low-interest mortgage, paused his savings for his kids' college, and kept those 2 big car payments. At 67, he has a house and a lot of memories, but he's living on $29,000 a year and he's terrified of the furnace breaking. Version 2. Dave ran the numbers at 43. He killed the credit cards, got the term life insurance, and kept his retirement as the priority. He automated his savings so they grew every year. At 67, he has nearly $1 million, a paid-off home, and most importantly, he has options. He can retire when he wants. He can help his grandkids without checking his balance. The difference between the two Daves isn't talent or luck. It's a series of boring, specific decisions made in the 40s window. That window is open for you right now. None of this is flashy. You won't get likes for updating your beneficiary form. But in 25 years, when you're sitting on your porch with $1 million cushion, you'll be glad you listened to a cartoon bill. Drop a comment telling me which of these milestones are you hitting first. And subscribe if you haven't. I post new videos every week to help you keep more of your hard-earned greenbacks.